Hi every pony on YouTube. How's it going? Been a bit of a wait again, hasn't it? Well, as always, just been busy. I actually spent the last 3 days in New York City for a college thing. It was my first time there, and it was pretty awesome overall. But I'm back with another reading of a story called Rainy Day Pony, which I'm actually quite excited to do for a couple reasons. Firstly, this is kind of another birthday gift, early birthday gift. A couple days ago, I got actually several comments from Jacob Delaney, who asked for another Applejack ship for his girlfriend's birthday, which is this Saturday, March 16th. So, call this one an early gift, I guess, plus a shout out to Jake and Julie. The other reason for my excitement is that this is a songfic, using a song called Rainy Day Man from the old Sailor Moon soundtrack. I don't know how many of you have ever listened to that or owned that, but I did in my youth, and I'll never forget this one. So I'm going to try and do this with the song synced up with the narration the way it is in the text, and hopefully it'll work. This is also going to end up being easily the shortest story I've done so far, so hopefully I'll have this uploaded fairly soon once it's all edited and mixed. I guess that's all I have to say for now. I'll just start in with this then. Quick thanks as always to all my recent subscribers and commenters, and I hope everyone enjoys, including Jake and Julie. Let's begin. Rainy Day Pony by Licorice Twist. Don't you get it, Dashy? The words were harsh and cruel, practically spat out of the other pony's mouth. I used you. You thought you were the best. Ha! But being with me, you got yourself so caught up it put you off your game. Rainbow Dash's eyes were welling with tears as she backed away from the other pony, wings pulled tightly against her slender body. Her chest was closer to the ground in an unconscious and uncharacteristic show of submission, the words ripping through her. This was the pony she thought she'd loved, the pony who was her first kiss, her first mating. This isn't funny. What are you saying? She couldn't believe her ears. This must be some sort of mean joke. It wasn't. And still you don't get it? Are you really that dumb? Those eyes were hard, mean as they looked on the trembling Rainbow Dash. I saw your potential. I knew if the Wonderbolts came looking, they'd look at you, not me. And now, you're out of the picture. You're a laughingstock to my friends. So easily seduced. So easy. Hardly took any work at all to mate you. You were just a means to an end, Dashy. With a little fun in between. Rainbow Dash fled the room at that point, the tears streaking down her face. Applejack had been resting under one of the apple family's many apple trees, curled up in the shade with her eyes closed. She'd had a long day bucking apples down from the trees and was resting her strong hind legs while cooling down from the heat. The last thing she expected was a pony dropping out of the sky. The sound of the crash startled her enough to make her leap up to her hooves in a flash, looking around wide-eyed. Applejack's eyes were quickly drawn to a long furrow in the ground, only this one was made by no plow, but by the pony at the end of it. Applejack was shocked to see the crash-landed pony was Rainbow Dash, and instead of bothering to get up, Rainbow Dash had curled up at the end, simply crying. Applejack was by her friend's side as fast as her hooves could carry her, deeply concerned. Rainbow Dash crying was not an everyday occurrence, so Applejack knew something was terribly wrong.
Rainbow Dash, what's going on, Sugar Cube? Are you hurt?
Applejack leaned down to nuzzle her friend's muzzle gently. Before she could lift her head to look over her friend for injuries, her eyes were bugged out by the sheer force of Rainbow Dash's forelegs latching around her neck, the other pony pulling herself up into Applejack's fur. Applejack sat down and drew Rainbow Dash closer, gently hoofing Rainbow Dash's hair.
There, Sugar Cube. Just let it out.
Applejack didn't try to pry out why Rainbow Dash was there in her orchard, crying into her neck. She didn't need to. All she needed to know was that Rainbow Dash needed her, and she was there.
Ever since I can remember, just like a brother, you've been strong and true. Always been the one to see me through.
The main drive of Applebuck season was through. Applejack had pushed herself far beyond her limit before finally accepting the help of her friends. She was inside the barn now, flopped into a bale of hay, just relaxing after the long final day of applebucking. The other ponies had gone home, all but Rainbow Dash.
I'm sorry I launched you into Twilight's tree, Sugar Cube.
Applejack turned her head in the hay to smile softly at Rainbow Dash.
Oh, it's nothing, AJ. I should have known something was wrong after, the first 10 misses. I've never known you to miss like that. It's alright, Sugar Cube. If I wasn't so focused on getting on me, well, if I wasn't so dang blasted stubborn.
Both ponies laughed, and Rainbow Dash found herself scooting closer to Applejack in the hay to give the other pony a gentle nuzzle. Applejack felt a small blush blossom on her cheeks, turning herself closer to Rainbow Dash and returning the nuzzle softly.
You're always there for me, AJ. I'm glad I could be there for you just once.
Rainbow Dash gave a happy little smile and just rested against Applejack, enjoying the warmth of her friend and the hay around them.
Rainy day man, you're much more than a friend. I would give anything just to see you again.
What were you thinking?
Rainbow Dash had dragged Applejack to a private train car on their way back to Ponyville. She was not a very happy pony at the moment. Her hoof butted lightly against Applejack's chest with each word before her hooves and wings were thrown into the air in frustration.
How could you do that to us? To your family? To me? Of all ponies? I told you.
Applejack was backing away, never quite having seen Rainbow Dash so incensed, stopping only when her rump pressed against the wall of the train car.
I wasn't thinking. I thought we went over this. Only because the other ponies were around. I am just so pissed.
And scared, but Rainbow Dash could never admit that part. She could never admit the fear she'd felt when they'd received the telegram saying Applejack wasn't coming home. She couldn't admit it, but it showed in her eyes.
I'm sorry.
And Applejack really was. She'd just been so ashamed after promising money to fix Town Hall, after being so sure of herself, only to let herself and every pony else down.
Always been the one to see me through.
Always so damn stubborn. You can come to us,
Rainbow Dash was pacing in front of Applejack before turning on her again.
To me! I know, Dash. I know. I couldn't face you. I couldn't disappoint you or any pony else by losing. But especially you.
Rainbow Dash looked at Applejack at those words. She felt something along her spine as their eyes locked. something she knew had been there for a long time, but she'd kept pushed away.
Rainy day man, you're much more than a friend.
No one could accuse Rainbow Dash of being subtle. Far from it, really. She didn't always think ahead, either. Sometimes she just acted. Instinct, brashness, need, desire. Going head first into action without thinking through the consequences. Sometimes it was disastrous. But sometimes it was just right. She stepped close, and before Applejack could even react, their lips were touching. Kissing. Rainbow Dash hadn't even known she was going to do it until her lips were on Applejack's, kissing the other pony deeply, her wings spread wide.
Rainy day, rainy day man.
Well, I hope you all liked that. Like I said, I know it's really short, and not even the most dynamic or developed story ever, but hopefully the music helped make things a little more interesting and maybe even entertaining. Anyway, next time I'll be reading another kind of official request, which is the Clopfic Making Sweet Music Together. And I'm pretty excited for that because it's Octoscratch. So until then, hope to see some comments, and if this vid wasn't necessarily everyone's cup of tea, feel free to let me know. But all the same, thanks as ever for listening, and I hope to be back soon. See you later.